Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm going to take a little bit of time to let people join in. So if you can see me, hear me, let me know, post a comment, let me know that you are here and ready to talk about jumping, specifically fitness for jumping, but we're going to talk a lot about jumping. So I'll just give it a little bit more time to let people join. Okay, yay, Patty's here and says she can hear me. Okay, cool. Welcome. Okay, so yay, hi Sue. Thanks for coming to my talk. Okay, guys, so this month has a special kind of, I think we're calling them mini webinars that is part of the Canine Fitness program. So the VIP plus Canine Fitness. So you're still going to get your monthly exercises. And what I did was try and match up the monthly exercises with this mini webinar thing. So your exercises, like all the previous months, are going to be jump specific. The mini webinar is going to focus a little bit more on actual jumping. So what you'll see is in the exercises, they're still very traditional kind of fitness exercises using fitness equipment, versus the webinar is going to be more about actual jumping and jumping for fitness. Because I think it's important to remember that, when a dog jumps, you may go out for the purpose of like, oh, we're doing this jump drill for handling. But every time the dog jumps, they're using muscles, like it's exercise as well. So we can use jumping drills and grids and stuff like that as fitness exercises, in addition to kind of that traditional canine conditioning that we think of with all the equipment and stuff. So that's kind of what this is going to be about, and it might be a little different. If you've worked with me in the past, all my jumping online teaching has both combined, and this is the way I'm combining it. Even though it's two separate things, I wanted it to happen in the same month so you would work on both. So my plea to you is that if you feel like your dog has a jumping issue, or you're just really excited to work on jumping fitness, don't forget about the monthly exercises as well. If you post for feedback in the webinar and I see something, like I'm probably going to remind you, like, hey, make sure you're doing these exercises as well because they're important. Now, some of the previous month's exercises may be important as well. So that's why I'm also kind of strategically had this be later in the program than the very first thing, because now you've got, quite a few exercises under your belt from June, July, and August that we can refer back to that can help us with jumping and with jumping problems. So now that we've got kind of hopefully that understanding of the way this month is going to work, I want to kind of talk to you about the purpose of this mini webinar, because I know a lot of people have already reached out to me about jumping issues that their dogs have, or struggles that they have, like knocking bars or jumping early, and such things like that. I do think this mini webinar can help with that. And so, we may go through it and you might be like, yes, this is the problem my dog has, so I'm going to focus on this aspect. And that's definitely one of the big benefits that I think you can get from this and why I wanted to do it. But that being said, that doesn't mean if your dog is perfect, if you're like, my dog is the best jumper on earth, you can't get any benefit from this. Like, this is still meant to also be a fitness program. So even if I have a dog that, I don't worry about jumping, I don't think jumping is an issue. My main competition dog right now, Ghost, an Australian Shepherd, I would put in that category. I've never really worried about how she jumps. Yes, she knocks a bar here and there, but all dogs do. Mostly it's because of my handling. But I still do a lot of these exercises for her fitness. I think the difference is that I can constantly be mixing it up and creating workouts with different grids and fitness for her. I don't have to necessarily focus on one issue. Versus if we say, okay, this dog really struggles to power off the rear over jump, I might only give you one or two things to really focus on to work on that problem. So in this webinar, some of the things that I'm going to try to highlight problem-wise are dogs that don't power off the rear. So a lot of dogs like to pull from the front to jump, and we really want them to power off the rear. That's mostly a fitness problem. That's mostly a body awareness problem. So trying to help the dog understand they can use their rear legs to jump. We're also going to deal with dogs that take off early and helping them find the right spot to take off to have a more appropriate jump arc. And then we're going to work on dogs, or not we, but like what's going to be in the program is I'm going to have some suggestions for dogs that do what I call Superman jumping. And there's kind of a few iterations of Superman jumping. One can definitely be that they take off early, but it doesn't look necessarily as obvious. So it's more like in real time, you might say, oh, it doesn't look like they're taking off early. But if we slow it down, we actually see they are slightly early. But these dogs tend to have, why I call it Superman is because they tend to have longer, flatter jump arcs. And so they tend to spend more time in the air. And often it has to do with arousal or just like why I call it Superman is because they think they can do it. They think they can fly, and they've been successful in the past. And so a lot of times this Superman jumping is it's not necessarily a bar knocking issue because they tend to be successful in getting over the bar, but every now and then they're wrong and they drop a bar. The problem with it is it's really hard on their body. The extreme examples, I'll actually see the dog rather than being like a nice straight back over the jump, will actually get a hyper extended back over the jump, like the rear legs fling up over their head. And that I think is really hard and really detrimental to the body. And I think we have to be really, really careful with that. I think those dogs, if we continue to encourage that kind of those are the ones that I actually worry about, degenerative issues in their lower back later on in their career. So that's why even though you might think, oh, well, it's fine because they don't drop bars, I would still be working on trying to get a little bit calmer jump, let's say, not so much Superman. So those are kind of the three big things that I think get addressed in the webinar for problem jumping. So in those cases, what I see happening with this assignment is that let me explain a little bit more how this is going to work. So what I want to start out with, what's going to be published first, is basically a breakdown of jump analysis. And so everyone, even if you think your dog is jumping well and you just want this information for fitness, I would still highly, highly recommend you do jump analysis, which is basically just filming your dog jumping, and then we're going to break it down. We're going to see where all the different phases of jumping are happening. We're going to look at the dog's arc, see if it's balanced, look at the body position. And so basically kind of analyze what is happening when this dog jumps. And from there, if there's problems, I can guide you towards, okay, I want you to do exercise XYZ to work on this. Versus if you're going through this for fitness, I want you to do everything. And I would still encourage you to do the jump analysis as well, because sometimes you pick up on things in the jump analysis that you maybe wouldn't have before. So hopefully, you guys can kind of understand like the dual way that this is going to work. What I love about it, and what I'm really happy about that it's getting posted and it's going to be out there, is you'll always have it to come back and reference, because sometimes something happens later on in life and now you suddenly have a jump problem. I know that happened for my dog, and that's kind of why I really got into jumping and doing all this stuff, because my dog started out as a really great jumper. And this is back in the days when international was 26 inches. And so I was preparing him to jump 26, and he crashed a 26-inch triple. Huge jump. So, he just didn't read it as a triple, took off at the wrong spot, and like landed right on top of it. And basically that shattered his confidence in jumping, and he became somewhat of a Superman jumper and somewhat of just, I'm not confident jumping. And you can see the difference, because I will say, the way I define a Superman jumper, often those dogs are like actually overconfident. And so that's kind of how I started developing a jumping program, was working with him to get through it. But if you had asked me when he was young, and just, I was going through the foundation process of agility, if he was going to need a jumping program, I would have been like, no. But then later on in life, he did. And so now you'll always have this as kind of a reference to come back to if, you start to see issues. So because I really, really want everyone to do the jump analysis, I am going to be releasing this in kind of probably just 2 separate blocks. The jump analysis part first, and then the exercise part second. Because I really, and again, it is nice to have someone like me be able to give you feedback on the jump analysis, but I also think it's good for you to be able to understand it yourself, and learn that. So I do really want to focus on that in the beginning, and not kind of, blow it off because we want to get straight to the exercises. So I hope that makes sense to everyone and everyone's okay with that. You won't be waiting too long to get the exercises. I just want to give everyone a chance to look at the jump analysis stuff first. So, awesome. I'm very excited. Karen says, love the idea of doing the analysis. Want to train my eye. Karen, I think it's the most important part of it, is that, if you can see what's going on, that's really helpful. And I think it's all about developing your eye. It's the same thing when we talk about teaching or learning running contacts. One of the most important pieces of that is being able to see where the dog is hitting and with which leg they're hitting with. And I think it's very similar with jumping. And when you're in the scheme of running a course, it's very hard to see how your dog is jumping. So again, videoing everything is really important. The other thing I'm going to say is I would never expect every jump that my dog took to be perfect. There's always going to be little missteps here and there. Same with a human athlete. Sometimes we have a flawless swim or a flawless run, and then sometimes we, make a little mistake. We were too close to the wall, put in an extra stroke, and that messed us up. So, it's one of those things. It's really important to be able to see what happened and also feel good about, is something wrong or was it just a fluke? Okay, so Allison has a question about, will there be anything about building back jumping after an injury? So not specifically, Allison, because this is mostly supposed to be like a fitness conditioning program. That being said, I do all of these exercises in my return to sport program. So there aren't unique things that I would necessarily only do for returning after an injury or only do in a fitness conditioning program. Like, it's all the same. We're trying to condition back or for jumping. So there aren't really differences, because if we want to prevent injury, we would be doing the same exercises so that we do after. So so it is, and I can't specifically, like, remember in this program, I can't necessarily put my veterinarian hat on to guide you specifically in a return to sport program. So I guess what I would say is, like, you might need to present this to who you're working with and get cleared for it. But it is about the only modifications that would be different is, sets, reps, frequency, duration kind of thing. Okay, so we have another question. Will we be posting our jump video to get help with jumping analysis? Yes, that is what the first assignment is I would like you to try to analyze it yourself, but like all the other exercise videos that you post, I will be going through and analyzing the video and giving you feedback as well. Okay, so Rose is asking, I recently dropped my Tully to 16 preferred from 20. He measured 19.75. Can I submit jumps for both heights? So just like, everything else, this will be, there no rules attached to like how much or how little you can submit. Again, when all the information is published, which this is going to be like the intro to the mini webinar. So as soon as this recording is done processing and can be posted on the website, the first part, the jump analysis part of the mini webinar, will be published as well. And that will have the assignment as the thing of like, post a video, try to analyze your jump based on the information taught. And then you'll get feedback from me. So yes. And remember, just like all the other bad dog, rules, you can do it for each dog in your household. It doesn't have to be just one dog. So this, it's even though it's a little different because it's a mini webinar, it's still the same as like all the monthly fitness stuff where you can post to get feedback and guidance on what you should be doing. Good questions. What other questions do you guys have? So as I'm waiting for some to pop in, I want to talk a little bit about some of the information that's going to be presented in the jump analysis and what we're kind of looking for. So basically what I want to look at is the dog basically jumping in full extension. The camera should be set up directly perpendicular to the jump. And so the jump is right in the middle. I need to see both takeoff and landing. If one of those is outside the frame of the video, I won't be able to help you analyze the jump. So we want to recognize that a jump has 5 phases. It has the approach, the takeoff, the aerial phase, the landing phase, and the departure. And it would be best if we could see all 5 phases in the video, because I do want you to identify the phases. And then from there, we're going to look at the jump arc and what that looks like. Now, it's important to remember that the arc is going to change based on height of the jump. It's going to change based on approach and departure of the jump. So if you're asking the dog to take the jump in a really collected gait, the takeoff is going to be a lot closer to the jump, and so is the landing. And so you're going to get kind of this spiked arc, rather than if you're asking a dog to take the jump in extension, then that's going to be a longer, flatter arc. I always look at the dog in extension because I think that's where most of the problems are evident. So that's why that's the one I would want to see for analysis. Okay. Hang on, we got questions. Okay. Carol asks, is this part of the CF program or an add-on? No, this is part of the CF program. So this is, if you go back to what's included in the CF program, there's 4 mini webinars throughout the year. We've already had the first one. The first one was just your introduction. So you probably don't even think of it as a mini webinar, but that was the one where we went over the fitness test and like what fitness is and why we're doing all that. If I remember off the top of my head, I think the other 2, and I know this is somewhere in either on the website or maybe on the Facebook page, the other 2 mini webinars planned for the year are winter fitness, so like small space, and then Cavaletti's. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Okay, so Rose is asking, should we submit videos from class or film single jumps? So Rose, you can definitely do videos from class, especially if, you're dealing with a problem. Because sometimes problems only show up in certain situations, right? But if you're not necessarily seeing any jumping problems, then I would do it from a single jump, because then you can make sure you have exactly the right angle camera angle needed, and make sure the frame gets everything. Sometimes when you're filming class or competition, if someone is filming you and the camera's moving, it can be really difficult to actually really analyze the jump, because if the jump moves in the frame, it's going to throw things off a little bit when we do all the drawing and analysis. Karen asks, any specific skills this is based on? Do we need to train supporting skills? So Karen, I want you to expand on this a little bit, because I'm not totally sure what you mean by that. I think maybe you will find in the monthly fitness exercises that those are technically progressions from earlier exercises I had. So if you didn't do the earlier exercises, I think most of them are actually they're kind of a combination of June and July exercises. So if you haven't made sure your dog understands those exercises, it may be somewhat difficult to go straight into the fitness exercises for this month. But that's the only thing I can think of. But maybe give me some examples of what you're imagining, or what you mean by specific skills. Okay. excited to analyze my girls jumping and see. Yes, it's my favorite part. Like I get really nerdy and I love to analyze jumping. And honestly, I've learned a lot from it. So even if you don't think your dog has a problem, just going through the class and looking how everyone else's jumps have been analyzed, I think you can really learn a lot. I've learned a lot from it. Like when I started teaching this, I never even thought about like Superman jumping. And that's really been something that I've learned and tried to figure out in the last year. I actually started doing a lot of work with bite sports dogs and their jumping, which they have to jump a meter is kind of the minimum in most of them. So that's like 40 inches. And learning how to develop a program for that has taught me so much, and analyzing their jumping, because it's very different how they have to jump to get that height, versus now after working with them, I'm like, dude, 24 inches is nothing. These dogs can do that. So yeah, I love doing it. It's one of my favorite things. Allison, do you want to see just one jump in video versus say a circle of jumps? So again, the assignment is going to be one jump for the analysis. Now, that being said, if you're dealing with a jumping problem and you see it comes up in a circle of jumps, then, posting that would be beneficial as well to help get more of a directed kind of like program of, focus on these exercises to help with that problem. Again, if we're mostly dealing with just working on fitness for jumping, you're going to go through everything that I post, all the exercises I post, because I think they're all important and they're all really great fitness exercises. This sounds like it's going to be very educational and helpful. Good. I'm glad. This is literally my passion. For those that don't know, I've been teaching online jumping classes. It seems like forever now, but it's probably only been since like 2016. So yes, I hope it's extremely educational, extremely helpful, and that you develop even a 1/10 of the passion that I have for it. Will feedback continue to be available? My cardio is currently injured and having TPLO next week, so it'll be a while before I can do this with him. So as long as you are a VIP plus CF member, you can get feedback on anything at any time, like while you are a member. So meaning like if next February you post in the what would it be? June exercises, which was the first month, I will get notification for it and give you feedback. So basically, this is, I should know exact dates, but I don't. I believe this year is going to go through June of 2022. And so within that time limit, yes, you can get feedback. Now, obviously, if the CF program goes on and continues, you would still be able to get feedback on all this stuff as well. As long as you are a CF member, you can get feedback on anything. Do you want us to just set them up in front of one jump, or should we have some speed going into and out of it? Yes. So it is going to be written, the assignment, as a jump in extension, which means you need to have them with some speed going into it. This is all going to be described in the written information, and there will be example videos as well. So don't panic if this is over and you're like, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do. That's okay, because it's all going to be laid out just like all my other canine fitness stuff, where, there'll be information for you to read through, and then basically it says assignment and tells you what to do to, submit for analysis. Now, the thing is, it is going to be separated from the monthly exercises. So even though the monthly exercises, fitness exercises are going to be, the theme is jumping exercises, they won't all be in like the same place on the website. So you'll have your September monthly exercises, and actually the first two are already out. So those have already been published on the Academy website. So you should be able to find those. This is going to be published separately as a mini webinar, plyometrics for jumping. So it's still supposed to have mostly a fitness purpose, but we kind of also recognize that it is a place where we'll get a lot of people who have jumping issues that they want to work through. So it is still mostly a fitness focused presentation. So I'm not going to go into handling. So, if you post a video of jump issues that usually knocked bars that appear to be more of a handling issue, that goes into the regular VIP section. So hopefully that helps people understand kind of where everything is going to be. Oh shoot, I scrolled too much. Okay, there we go. So May is asking, when doing the video, can the dog be stopped, or should he already be in motion when approaching the jump? So already in motion. So I like to analyze the jump, an extension jump. This will all be explained in what gets posted. So don't feel like I said, that you have to, at the end of this talk, know exactly what's going on. You know me, if you've been reading my stuff, I like to give you all the reasons and explanations about why things are happening. And so there's going to be a lot of written stuff explaining plyometrics and the phases of jumping and what we're looking for in a jump. And then it will tell you your assignment and what you should do. So just like everything else, hopefully my instructions have been fairly clear on, what you should be doing and, to do everything successfully. Okay, so Karen got back to the skills. So sometimes we need things like rear foot targets or go out and touch a pole or super solid sit stay. Okay, Karen, now I get you. I don't require any of that. Like, I'm not going to look at your video and say, oh, I can't analyze this because you don't have a super solid sit stay. Now, if you don't have a super solid sit stay, you might recruit a friend to help hold your dog, to do some of the stuff. Or, I know my dogs have good boundary training, so I'll just stick a platform out there and, I can leave them there and release from that. No. So basically the answer is no. Now, that being said, in analysis and watching things, we might find a hole and say, oh, you know what? We actually really need to work on this. And I think that'll help fix the problem. But just from the outset, no. Okay. What about young puppies not jumping at height but starting bumps? Will this help eliminate future problems and exercises? So, good question. This kind of gets into my philosophy for jump training. I do not like to spend a lot of time at low jump heights. So I don't do a lot of puppy jump training. I wait until they're old enough to jump full height. Now I'm going to say that's going to be a lot earlier than most people think. But I'm also not doing sequencing and stuff with them at that age. But like for my last border collies, I'm going to say it was between 10 and 12 months old where I felt like they could handle full jump height on a single jump. So that's how I do it. Now with jump bumps, I might do some of like the basic grids that I have, like baseline grid on jump bumps, because the baseline grid never goes to full height anyway. It basically stays at like between, depending on the height of the dog, it's going to be like 4 to 12 inches. It never goes above that. And so for that, I think puppies can do it. I see more issues with people doing a lot of jumping at not the puppy's full height. So because they don't learn where the appropriate takeoff is. So for example, if you've got a young dog like sequencing, but the bars are, a young border collie, let's see. So they're going to jump 20, 22, or 24. And you've got the bar set at 4. They're actually not learning where they should jump. They're just learning to run through it. And if you do a lot of that, I think that can definitely affect them figuring out an appropriate takeoff spot. Because like I said, with the jump arc, the arc is going to change based on height of the jump. So if they build a lot of muscle memory and strength for jumping a 12-inch bar when their actual height is going to be 24, that can definitely mess up the jump arc. So hopefully that answers your question about puppies. This is the one, I know I talked a lot about, like, I do a lot of fitness with puppies, and what I change is the intensity. This is probably one exception to that, where I just don't do a lot of jump work with puppies. I wait until they're old enough that I can do all of it. So yeah, I'm going to say Finnick, my youngest border collie, I started at 10 months old, worked on the one jump stuff all the way to full height, and then started adding grids in. Okay. So Carol is asking, is this a 1-month program or will it be ongoing for a while, like a 6-week course? So it is not a 6-week course. It's not really a 1-month program either. So with these mini webinars, basically what it was is just you get additional focused fitness topic besides your monthly exercises. So again, if we go back to June, that introduction to canine fitness was your first mini webinar. And so you got lots of information on like what fitness is and the components of fitness. And then we had the fitness test to go through. This is the second mini webinar with the focus on jumping. So all the information is going to be released in September, but feedback doesn't end in September. And actually all the information is going to be released fairly quickly because it's, I don't want to sit on the exercises. So I'm just staggering the exercises from the jump analysis part because I don't want people to skip the jump analysis and go straight to exercises. So you're going to get the jump analysis part as soon as, like I said, this video is processed and it's ready to all be published. The jump analysis portion is going to come out with that. The exercises are going to come out later. So I want to give people some time to submit their jump analysis, get that done, and then we'll get exercises. But it's going to be fairly quick because I want to also be able to look at your jump analysis and be like, okay, I want you to do X, Y, and Z exercises versus like if the jump analysis looks great, then I'm going to want you to, probably just go through the program for fitness. And I want you guys to understand, like, this is a fitness program as well. It's not just about fixing jump problems. This is what I do with my dogs as plyometric fitness. I don't not do it because I think, oh, well, their jumping's great, I don't need to do it. No, I still do this stuff to keep them fit for jumping. Because remember, jumping is like 90% of agility. Like, it is very important, and we don't spend enough time on it. So this is the time and the information to like focus on jumping and build the body to be a better jumper, a more efficient jumper, but also use this kind of stuff to work on if there's any issues. Yeah, good question. Okay, guys. Yes. Okay. Someone knew the answer for me, that it goes through the end of June 2022. So as long as you stay a member of the CF program, you will have access to this to end of June 2022. If CF goes on after that and you continue to be a member, you will still have access. It'll probably go like into the archives, just kind of the same way that just the VIP program works. Okay, Susan says, I've done plyometric training. Why did I never before consider how beneficial that would be to an agility dog, right? I mean, Susan, how come a lot of times we don't consider fitness at all being beneficial to the agility dog? If I go back to when I first started agility, which was a long time ago, it really was about going to class once a week and learning the obstacles there and starting to run courses. There was no talk of fitness. I do remember on occasion, the instructors would suddenly be like, okay, we're going to have like a body condition evaluation. And they would go through and put their hands on all the dogs in class and tell you whether your dog was fat or not. But they never really talked about like warm-ups or cool downs or fitness. And I just, from the swimming side of my life, I look at that and I go, swimming wasn't, yes, we learned the skills and we worked on it, but it wasn't just about going to the pool and swimming your race over and over and over, which is a lot of what I kind of think agility training is. There was so much more to it. There was all the time we spent in the gym lifting weights and all what we call dry land exercise, where we do, our push-ups and our planks and our TheraBand work. And then there was cross training, we'd go out and run and bike and do all this other stuff to prepare. And I think agility is, again, it is a sport. These dogs are athletes. And the more we can, train them specifically for agility, the better they'll do. So yeah, awesome. Okay, guys. Looks like I've gotten through all the questions posted. So definitely, if you have more questions, post them. But hopefully I've covered everything. I'm trying to think if there's any other information that I really need to get out for you guys to know. But basically, the biggest thing is, don't expect as soon as this live ends that all of this will suddenly be on the website. So remember, anytime we do a live, it does take a little bit of time to process it and get it on there. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of a taste of what to look for and you're excited for it coming up. I'm really excited for it. Like I said, jumping is my passion. It's probably my biggest thing that I think can like help a lot of agility dogs, because you can see the benefits so quickly, especially if you haven't been doing a lot of jumping fitness work. Once you start doing it, you start to see the dogs they're so much more efficient at jumping. They're not having to put as much energy into it. And that makes everything easier then. So, yeah, it's really great. I'm super excited. Okay, guys, last call for questions before I sign off. And, hopefully you guys have found the 1st September exercises already posted. So you guys can get started on those. So like if you leave this live and you're like, oh, I'm ready to go, I'm energized, go start on your September exercises. Those are, like I said, all the September exercises are really focused on jumping. It's, it's one of those things where I'd love to say for jumping fitness, we only need to work on the rear legs, but jumping is a full body movement. So we need to work on all the parts of the body. Your fitness exercises, though, are mostly going to be focused on the rear legs and the core for this month. So again, they're really great for other things, not just jumping. They're really great for overall fitness as well. So, okay, guys, it doesn't look like any other comments are coming in. Hopefully everything's still going. It looks like everything's working okay. So, yeah, I will probably have it going, I don't know, in a day-ish or so. And I am expecting I'm going to get a lot of jump analysis videos posted right away. So also remember, I'll get through them as best I can, but it may take me some time. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people joining in and really interested in this webinar. So yeah, it may take me a little bit longer to do all the feedback on everyone's jump analysis. Let's see. So Rose says, I'm so excited to really understand Tully's jumping skills so you can improve them. Can't wait. Me too, Rose. I can't wait. I'm, like I said, super excited for this webinar. I feel like, I know there are some people in the group. I don't think they're on the live, but I know there are some people in the group that I've worked with in the past on jumping, either privately or on online classes. And so hopefully they'll chime in and talk about their success. But I really, I feel like there's a lot of improvement can be had. Now, I'm not going to say that this is going to make every dog a perfect jumper. There are definitely things out there that can't be fixed. But there are a lot of things that can be improved or at least made better. So, yay, super excited, guys. I cannot wait to see all your videos. It's going to be a really, really fun time. And hopefully this is a good time for everyone to start thinking about it. I know we're getting into winter months and may not be able to do a lot of jumping outside. But usually we can find space for the one jump work at least, and keep doing that through the winter. So, yay. Okay. I knew. I was like, someone's here. Hi, Vaughn. Even though it says Facebook user, I know who it is. So, okay, guys, I am going to sign off. And if you have questions before anything gets posted, remember there is a email just for the VIP Canine Fitness members. And of course, I can't remember that right now, but I believe it's fitness@baddoggagility.com. Hopefully that's correct. But even if you email the regular VIP email address, they will forward it to me for the fitness one. But just be patient. This stuff is going to get posted as soon as we can. And you'll have plenty of time to post and get analysis and do the exercises. So can't wait to see you guys there. I hope you all have a great rest of the day and weekend. And I will see you on the internet. Bye, guys.